you see that guy from the World Economic Forum talking about bioengineering bugs in order to make us allergic to meat so that we won't eat it to fight climate change? It really happened. Hold on.
Not meat, then they would. Okay, so I'll give two examples. So one is that people eat too much meat, right? And if they were to cut down on their consumption on meat, then they would it would actually really help the planet. But people are not willing to give up meat. Yeah, you know, some people will be willing to, but other people, they may be willing to, but they have a weakness of will, they say.
Yes, a weakness of will. Has absolutely nothing to do with being the most nutrient-dense, bioavailable protein on the planet. Check out the rest of this shit.
So for example, I have milk intolerance. And some people are intolerant to crayfish. So possibly we can use human engineering to make it the case that we're intolerant to certain kinds of meat, to certain kinds of bovine proteins. And there's actually analogs of this in life. There's this thing called the Lone Star tick, where if it bites you, you will become allergic to meat.
What in the dystopian Klaus Schwab beta soy boy shit is going on here? Can somebody put this turbo cuck on a government watch list, please?
Is that what you're trying to tell us? I am simply trying to say that the people that you have put on that panel, after firing the entire... You're evading the question. No, I'm asking the questions here.
You're evading that question.
I'm asking the questions, Mr. Kennedy. I'm asking the questions for Mr. Kennedy on behalf of parents and schools and teachers all over the United States of America who deserve so much better than your leadership. That's what this conversation is about, Mr. Chairman.
Senator, they deserve the truth, and that's what we're going to give them for the first time in the history of that agency.
Okay, I need to be careful what I say here, because every time I do one of these videos, I always get a warning, or the video is always taken down, which really annoys me, so I need to be very, very careful.
Wil je nou net zo'n mooie, glanzende huid als ik hier heb, eet dan wat vaker een mergpijpje. Maar Mr. Dutch Carnivore, hoe bereid je deze dan? Nou, voor optimaal behoud van smaak en voedingsstoffen eet je het mergpijpje het beste rauw. Vervolgens is het procedé heel eenvoudig. Kijk aan welke kant de doorsnee het kleinst is. Gebruik je duim om het merg eruit te duwen. Een beetje zout erbij. En klaar is Kees.
So we know there's an agenda against real, proper human food because it's clear. And if you don't realize that, you need to wake up. But raw dairy is illegal in my country. So you can go to jail for selling it. Yet all these companies that produce fake food, ultra-processed food, have a carte blanche in chemicals and unproven practices that are deemed generally recognized as safe. They have no problem putting them in there. So in Canada, we cannot legally sell or buy or, have raw dairy.
Was there one conversation that the medical system had with you about nutrition and diet?
No, not one single effing thing. And this is why I made so many reels about the fact that the average doctor spends, 19.6 hours total on nutrition during their entire medical school career. And this was actually research and proven with all the medical institutions when they reviewed all the curriculum. And that's the most prestigious medical schools. So if you go to the average school, I think Dr. Barrett was telling me that his medical school, they probably did less. They probably did like 10 hours total.
Yeah.
Well, the average personal trainer knows a lot more about nutrition than the average doctor, and I have researched this to a T.
So this is future congressman, future doctor, carnivore lawyer, Christopher Brandlin, saying the truth.
And if you're not eating correctly, I mean, it just puts you, and this is a conversation that I was having with somebody earlier, is back, 12, 13, 14,000 years ago, if you were not genetically the strongest, you didn't survive. You know, you were a kid, you made a stupid decision, you died, and that was that. And that's part of why, you know, that the median age was 35. But if you were genetically there, I mean, if we're seeing people that in Japan are living to 100, and that's with them having grains and other modern instances, imagine if it was a much simpler life, a more calm life. I mean, I think they were saying when you look at the telomere life of a cell, we should be able to live to be like 120 years old or something like that.
You know, it's funny you say that, because there's like a lot of people with the spiritual side to get into this stuff, and biblically,
there's symptoms of chaos
we
of
were
gut that's
supposed to
been
live
lied to for years, but you're
120.
not
It says
broken.
it in the Bible.
You're just misfed.
This is me. Heat of the matter.
Where truth isn't skin deep.
Else is sick and fucking tired of seeing all the carnivore shit all over these fucking apps. No one cares if you only eat meat. Every single one of you have to identify by carnivore fucking Connie, carnivore Ken, whatever the fuck your name is, and you add carnivore to the end of it on your fucking bio is fucking weird. Weird. You're literally treating your diet like a fucking religion. A religion. A meat religion. Okay? Like, what in the absolute meat fuck is this shit? Your fucking forts with your eggs and your cheese and your fucking butter and your dates. Who cares? You can't shit. Your fiber intake is fucking zero, and you think you're just fucking trudging through life getting all healthy. Get the fuck out of here. No one cares. Your meat fucking ass, your meat farts, your meat sweats.
There is no question we are in a war. It's us against them. And today, we got a lot of things to talk about. Welcome into the meat of the matter. Happy Sunday, everybody. Just to let everybody know, we're trying a little thing. I'm trying to go on Instagram. Peter is taking a little sabbatical. He's going to be back next week. We got a special guest. I'm going to introduce him in a second. But for all those people on Instagram that are following me or on our channel, we may have a little bit of lag. This is out of my technical realm, so we're trying it out today. And I just before we get going, boys, Byron, we love you. Thanks for that. And we do that little intro, that little thing, just to kind of warm up the algorithm. And now that I'm back this week, I was kind of out of earshot, out of cell range last week, and we really want to send a special thanks out to Lisa Moss, the Prairie Carnivore, and Jonathan, the Norse Carnivore, for stepping in with Mark and doing you guys had a great talk. I'm sorry I couldn't be there because I was coming in and out of reception. And just before we introduce Philip, we just want to say that we got Michael Fine at Ancestrally Healed. The interview just dropped yesterday. And also Reshape Your Life. Last week we had Jason Atkinson, and those two great talks. Next Saturday, how cool would it be, especially you, Philip, to have a carnivore in Congress? Well, we sat down with future carnivore Congressman Christopher Bandlin. He's part of the Maha movement. He's a real dude. He's one of us. And his interview is going to be dropping next Saturday. And now that brings us to our special guest today, Philip. Mark and I, we had a chance to sit down with you, Philip, this week. We are going to release that interview probably after the show, hopefully today, maybe tomorrow. But Mark and I, talking with you and about what we're going to talk about today, everybody has skin in the game. And we got into your story and your journey, how you got to where you're at, helping people with diet and lifestyle, and a very serious thing that you've seemed to get under control and manage. Very important. We're going to talk a lot about the skin today, but we decided to have you on because there was so much more to talk about. And, when we're on this podcast, we're trying to question the narrative and, call out the bullshit. And I think there's a big side of this psoriasis skin business that we need to get into a lot more. So we invite people to join in. Thanks for your comments. Thanks for everybody being here. Mark and Philip, thanks for joining us today, my man. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. It looks like you got somebody from Southern California as well. So if you want to know Philip's story in detail, we're going to be putting that video we're going to be releasing that interview very soon. And before we get into this stuff today about all things skin, Mark, you've been doing some work, buddy, and be getting some pushback. I want to talk a little bit about that because I think next week we're going to tie into the mainstream powers that be against us. But how you've been pushing hard, man, and getting a lot of pushback. I just wanted to see what your thoughts are, how you're feeling.
I'm very annoyed, Tony. My videos are not even getting the views that they should be getting. I got 2 strikes when I put that video up yesterday. I had to write back to TikTok and say, listen, there's nothing wrong with this video at all. But they were absolutely convinced they were going to take it down. So 3rd time lucky, they eventually put it up. But I'm after looking at the views today, and it's not getting anywhere near the views it should be getting.
It's funny how that works. I think we're all sort of victims of the algorithm from time to time, and that's what we need. All your help, everybody that's tuning in and commenting, and we're trying to get out on platforms. Our tech guru-ness is very weak. We're trying to get as much as we can. And Mark, man, I just feel you, because I've seen all your videos this week. There's a message, and all the conversations that we talk about that get pushback. It's quite fascinating, and I'm going to say it, man. And I know you're up for this anytime. If anybody that has a problem with what Mark's saying, come on our show. Let's talk about it. We're real people. We want to address this from a human perspective. We're not trying to fearmonger. We're not trying to bring hate. We're trying to bring awareness, and that ties us in to next week's episode, where we're going to be talking about the mainstream pushback. All over our political systems, all of our countries feel this in some way, and it's absolutely ridiculous. And that
what happened to free speech, Tony? That's what I don't understand. Like, what happened to free speech? Why are we not allowed to speak? Exactly. You know what I mean? It's just because I'm getting fed up of doing the same videos every week, talking about cholesterol, calories. I'm getting fed up because I've got too many. Yeah, it's and when you look at what's going on in the world at the moment, I mentioned this yesterday. We have a guy at the moment that's at the top of his realm, and he's getting all this pushback. He's getting so much hate, and it's incredible. It's incredible how people are just giving us all this shit, and all we're trying to do is help people. That's all we're trying to do. We're not pushing anything. We're not pushing an agenda. We're not part of a cult. We're just giving a different opinion. That's all we're doing.
It's funny how that works, man. And Philip, I guess being in Southern California, you're in the thick of it, man. Like there's a lot of stuff that's going on there. That's I'm feeling it in Canada. I know Mark's feeling it in Ireland, and it's crazy. How is it in California where you are?
Yeah, there's a small community of carnivore people here, but definitely a lot of vegan. There's a lot of vegan restaurants, a lot of vegetarian restaurants. So it's a struggle, and I'm trying to advocate too as well for, just not just psoriasis, but like just healthier living. And I agree with you, Mark. Like we try to put out all our information. I get strikes too. You guys didn't know. So it's been tough, but just keep pushing on, and we have every right to say what we need to say, and it's up to the person to make that decision. We're not forcing them. It's up to them to make that decision on.
Do you know how I know what I'm doing is right? Is when I get random people that I've never even met in my life all over the world that are sending me messages saying what you're saying actually makes sense. And that makes me feel good. That because there's days when I'm doing my videos and I'm doubting myself, and I'm like, what's the bleeding point? Like, what's the point? Nobody's listening to me. But when I get those messages, it brings me back up again. It says, right, okay, now I know there is people watching me. There's people listening to me. I need to look at as well the amount of people that I've helped as well. So when I get those little bit of doubts, and I'm like, what's the point of these fucking doing these bleeding videos and not getting the views that they should be getting? Because in my opinion, the videos that I put up yesterday, especially with the one with JFK, that should have went bleeding viral. I mean, at the end of the day, we're listening to the same bullshit all the time. These people in government are bullying this guy, and they think they can get away with. And then someone like myself who's backing up this guy and saying, well, listen, hang on a second. Like, you guys are ganging up on this fella and this guy. You're bullying this guy, and this guy is only trying to help the world. And then you have the likes of us three. We're with this guy. We're trying to tell you guys that what's going on in the world at the moment, but you guys are pushing us back.
No,
like we're totally. Like. It's you can understand the frustration and the anger. You really can.
Oh, for sure. And I think all of us being coaches and with clients, we've seen things that are deemed impossible, and that we're going to get into a lot of that today, because I think this ties into the business of this. We all have skin in the game. Every single human on this planet has their skin in the game. And I think there's a lot of push into, because when we were talking with Philip about this stuff, we talked about his journey, but we realized at the end of it, there's a whole business side of this. There's a whole push for the pharmaceutical interventions, and it's the same thing with the RFK thing that ties it right into it. The powers that be push back so hard, and they discredit people. They don't talk about what's being said. They make it personal, and then they attack. And Philip, I know how you feel about this, because you've done some things that, I think hopefully if somebody's suffering from some severe skin condition, I'm gonna put that picture up. Is that okay, Philip? We're gonna put the picture up first. And this is where we're coming from. And I want you, when we're trying to invoke some hope, that there's a different thing that you can do. And we'll put this up. And if you look at Philip's back, this is before he was carnivore. He sent me this on Instagram, and you can just see the back, and Philip, you were telling us your full body was covered, horrible psoriasis outbreaks. And this is something that is, oh man, I can't even imagine, buddy, because how did you feel taking this picture? Just walk us through it.
I was gross. I was in pain. I was a lot of pain. I felt like there was no hope. And I was doing my research at the time too, with, people heard of stuff, which are steroids. If I use too much of it, I get withdrawals.
Yeah.
So there are people on Instagram who are dealing with the eczema withdrawals, or the steroid withdrawals, and their skin is completely peeling, everything's flaring up. So I don't want that, right? I'm already dealing with this. I don't want to make it worse. So what can I do? So, but in this picture, this was literally a week after I decided to go carnivore, and this is my before picture. Is hey, this is where I'm at. And what's gross about this too is it's all over my entire body. This is considered severe because this is more than 50% of my body being covered. And you can't just use topical ointments, because topical ointments is supposed to be for small areas.
Yeah.
But this is a large area, so.
But see, Philip, you're not the only one. There's other people in the world that have done this. You look at the likes of Bella, steak and butter gal. She suffered with her skin as well for such a long time. And you look at her skin now, it's flawless. Absolutely flawless. And there's another guy on social media. I interviewed this guy about a couple of years ago. I can't remember his name. He was all over social media. He had eczema all over his face and his hands, and his videos went viral. I can't remember what his name was. But he's been doing carnivore now. He goes to these public speaking events talking about this all the time. And his skin is flawless, absolutely flawless. Yeah. And Tony mentioned this earlier before we went live, and he's absolutely correct. Everything starts with the gut. Everything starts with the gut.
Yeah. And it's funny because, when we're thinking about skin, and I'm so sorry, Philip, that you had to go through that. But we look at that as at the serious end of the spectrum. But aging and wrinkling it's all part of it. And we have clients. I have clients, ladies in their 60s, that their skin is reacting to their diet, to what they're doing. The skin is reacting to it. It's clear that obviously it's not as severe as a psoriasis or bad some kind of skin condition that's very, very, autoimmune, but how our skin reacts. I mean, people tell me I have soft skin. I don't use moisturizer. I don't use soap. And I think there's a spectrum and a context. And what I think the mainstream always drives toward is this pharmaceutical intervention is necessary. And I think Philip's got something to say about that, because I want to talk about, Philip, we were talking about what the sort of the lead up to what it would be for the pharmaceutical. So you have something wrong. What do they first, you go to the doctor, what do they first do?
Yeah. So when you go to dermatologists, dermatologists are expensive and they're specialists, but they take you through something called step therapy. In United States, there's a guideline for all dermatologists. You have psoriasis, this is what you go through. The very first one, if it's something small and acute, you start with creams and steroids and stuff. That's the first thing. And you probably heard of if you want something quick and fast too, there's a pill called prednisone, which is a very common um, pill that they give you if you go to the ER and stuff. If you have like hive breakouts or
Yeah.
any type of allergic reaction, they give you that, which
That's a
is
steroid, right?
that's a steroid as well, and that's one of the first things they give you. That's like the first step. But if that doesn't work or something, it's a more longer term that there's a deeper root cause to that, then they move you on to phototherapy or even oral. So
Okay.
more complex oral type of stuff where, but they before they do that, they have to do a blood panel on you. They have to make sure your kidneys are okay, your livers are okay before you do that, because there's a lot of major side effects, and what you're taking, these pills are immune suppressants.
Mm.
That's another thing that they tell you is like, hey, warning, just be careful. Don't hang out with a lot of people who have diseases or they're sick, so you might have a higher chance of getting sick.
So your autoimmune condition, they weaken your immune system.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Just to reduce the inflammation and reduce the flare-ups and stuff like that. And if the phototherapy and that stuff doesn't work, you go on to biologic, which is the last step.
That's
Go ahead.
that's what I want to talk today about, because we didn't get a chance to get into that in our interview. So explain. I've got a couple things lined up for some stuff about the biologics, but explain that last step.
So the last step, you probably seen it on TV, if your country allows you seeing those medical vaccine stuff on ads. I mean, and so the biologics is literally the last step where you're taking shots, monthly shots or weekly shots, depending on the dosage and the type, which actually inhibits your receptors from allowing your skin to grow. And
Yeah.
so that's the last immunosuppressant. That's the more advanced stuff. And you probably heard like something Cosentyx or Humira.
Yeah.
Those are the Humira is actually very old now. There's actually a very old
Yeah.
like one of the first generation of shots. Now there's new ones called like Skyrizi and stuff like that, where that targets your receptors and slow down your growth. And
Okay.
it
So
actually helps
go
with
ahead.
people with psoriatic arthritis, which is
Okay.
a more deep down in your tendons type of arthritis.
Mm.
So
And where were you at with you were kind of in that fork in the road where you either were going to do the biologics, but you decided to go carnivore and see, right?
yeah, so I went through phototherapy, I went through all of that, and I got to the fork, right? They told me, you either take biologics, which is very expensive. We're gonna go into that later.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then or you just kept going on with your cream.
Okay.
So the cream
Now,
was working for me, but yeah.
as we're setting this up, how many times did the doctors talk about nutrition or gut health or diet and lifestyle?
0.
Okay. All right. So now what we're going to do, I want to bring this to your attention. Philip sent me, hold on one second. This is the National Psoriasis Foundation.org. He sent me a couple links to check a look at. And now we're going to keep this in the back of our minds throughout this talk. The mission of the National Psoriasis Foundation is to drive efforts to cure psoriatic disease and improve lives of those affected. Over 8 million people in the US have psoriasis. Nearly a third of them will develop psoriatic arthritis. A world without psoriatic disease and the related burdens is possible. We won't stop until you have the cure you deserve. How does that make you feel, Philip, knowing what the message they're sending right now?
So I have mixed feelings. I'm actually a part of this foundation.
Okay.
I volunteer for it, and I like their mission. I enjoy the mission. It started off, I forgot the lady's name, but she started back in the 1920s, and she started this foundation to help people with psoriasis.
Okay.
And I love the purpose. They have tons of information in there. They even have a podcast that helps people with understanding what psoriasis is, what you could do, doing nutrition changes. They even mention nutrition in there in this podcast. So there's a lot of resources. And I do want to add that during my journey with the dermatologist, I was never mentioned any resources to help with my psoriasis. So they didn't tell me anything about psoriasis. They just told me, hey, it's a skin thing. Here, take this. And I was doing an interview with them, and I told them that. I was like, what? Like they were supposed to reach out and tell you, hey, there's resources. So as a resource, this is something, if you have psoriasis, you have no idea what to do,
yeah,
this is a good resource for you to go to, National Psoriasis Foundation.
Okay.
So,
sorry,
yeah.
I don't mean to cut you off, because this is sort of, so this is not a medical system organization. This is something that's its own entity that helps people.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Because now we're going to play a little video clip, and I want to get your take on it, because we just mentioned biologics. We haven't even got into the cost of biologics, but this is from the Cleveland Clinic. And now I'm going to show the other side of this message, what they say.
Popping in for a chat.
Well, thank you, John.
Sorry.
Welcome to the podcast, Dr. Fernandez. We appreciate you popping in for a chat.
Well, thank you, John. Good to see you.
So we're talking about psoriasis, and that's a skin condition that affects an estimated 125 million people around the world. So that's a lot of folks that are looking to science for a solution to a health issue.
Yeah, you're right. It's estimated that 2 to 3% of the entire world's population has psoriasis. So this is definitely a disease that generates a significant amount of suffering around the world. So any scientific breakthroughs in our understanding of the disease or the ability to treat it can translate into tremendous benefits for all of those people who are suffering on a global population scale.
Well, we're going to talk about one of those advances today that I know has really kind of pushed things forward with treatment, and that are biologics. And I know it's being used much more for treating the condition, particularly in severe cases. But before we get into how that medication works, can you explain exactly what the medication is, what biologics are, and where they come from?
Biologics are antibodies, and I think most people are probably familiar with the term antibody, but an antibody is a protein that binds to something very specific. And our immune system naturally makes antibodies. It makes antibodies to viruses or bacteria or other foreign substances that are able to invade our body. So the idea is we make an antibody, for example, to a virus so that the next time that virus invades our body, the antibody binds to it and can either incapacitate it or sort of knock it down and target it for the immune system to destroy it. And in fact, that's what vaccinations are. Of all a vaccine is introducing a part of a virus or bacteria into our body and triggering our immune system to react to it. So biologics are antibodies, but instead of specifically recognizing a virus or bacteria or some other foreign substance, these are antibodies that are synthesized in a laboratory and are meant to recognize very specific key components of inflammatory processes. And in the case of psoriasis, of course, to recognize the key components of the inflammatory environment of psoriasis, and in that way sort of knock down all of that inflammation, incapacitate that inflammatory environment.
So
okay. So trust the science is what they're saying. That's right. Have we heard that before?
Unbelievable.
So it's a great. Crazy. We need to find the science to combat this. We need to find the drugs to do it. Now, before we get Philip's take on that, he sent me a conversation with AI about the cost of biologics. Now, this is frightening. Oh, hold on one sec. So here, cost, where can I get it up there? Add to stage. There you go. There is probably 13 or 14 on the list. These are just the first couple. 39,000.
That's absolutely insane, isn't it? It's
okay.
Insane.
Now look at this one. This is the second one on the list. 46,000.
Jesus.
The cost increased from 2004 to 2004. How much do you think they're on your side? You know, why are they doing these things? This is number 3.
Oh, it's incredible.
Out-of-pocket cost Medicare beneficiaries. Out of pocket, $4,000 to $6,000. So if you have insurance, it's $50 to $300 a month.
Oh my God!
Absolutely unbelievable.
Dude, I could have bought a couple steaks for that.
So Philip,
I was on. I was only look. I know this is going to be go off subject a little bit, but I was looking at this during the week, and we've already covered this. We've done a video on this, Tony, with endometriosis. But I was watching this on the news during the week. There was this young girl. She's going over to. I can't remember where she's going. I think she's going to Denmark or some country anyway. And they had to get a lens of 22 grand. 22 grand to get the surgery done for endometriosis. It's absolutely insane. So this family is going to be in debt for probably about a year, maybe 2 years for this surgery.
Yeah.
It's
So-
honestly, it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. That's unbelievable. I can't get over that.
No,
Can't get over that.
And Philip, okay, so let's go back to the video. What he was saying. What are your thoughts on that? Just listening to how
it's helping, but at the same time, it's very upsetting to hear that, because that's their go-to. That's how they're making money, and they're promoting it. At the same time, you have to consider, okay, so if they're affecting the inflammatory system, what does that mean, right? That means that they're suppressing our immune system that could be helping protect us from other stuff like the plague, maybe something that came out of nowhere, or like a polio or something that we had shots for, but they're no longer building the antibodies to help protect ourselves. So there's that mix. Like, what risk are you willing to take?
Now looking at the cost of those drugs that are astronomical. If you don't have any insurance, you're pretty much out of luck. I mean, that the $50 to $300 is if you have insurance. We're talking $4,000 to $6,000 a month for somebody that's on a normal like living salary in any country. How is that even possible?
So with my insurance, my copay was $1,000. They didn't even they only cover a little bit of it, and they even gave the dermatologist actually gave me a rebate, like a little thing for you to buy first, and you do the rebate, and they get the money back. I'm like, I don't know if I don't want to spend that money.
Yeah. So now just knowing, and Lisa made a good point, heal your gut and you will glow. I mean, I think it all starts with the gut, and that's obviously that we're going to tie this into that. Now think about the amount of money, Philip, when you chose to go the carnivore diet, and people argue all the time, it's so expensive. How can you eat steak every day? Whatever, it's got to be so. You tell us your thoughts on the cost.
Dude, the cost is way cheaper. For me
and
my
it's better.
family.
It's better as well.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, we all have to eat. Everybody, so you have a choice. You either eat shit, you either pay for shit, or you just pay for just what we should be eating.
And
Like it's like people can't just keep on coming up with the money aspect. Every single one of us have to eat. So you have a choice. You know what you need to do. Don't give me this bullshit. I hate when I hear this from people that I can't afford it. Okay, well, what do you put in your trolley every week? Add it all up. I can guarantee you that what you're buying every week adds up a lot more than a couple of steaks a week. I see it because I see it every week in the shop. I see people going through the tills, and they're paying like 400-500 quid on a family worth of food. It's like, and half of it is going to be wasted. Half of it is going to be wasted. Like, it's just, no, I'm not buying it. I don't buy that. That's one thing that really wrecks my head, is I can't afford it. Look at what you're buying during the week. Are you buying like fast food? Are you ordering takeaway food? Are you on your lunch break? Are you going out and buying rolls? Like look at your circumstances. You know what I mean? Are you cooking your own food? We've lost that. Name one person in the world at the moment that cooks their food.
Mark.
Nobody. You know what I mean? But nobody cooks their food anymore.
No.
I remember when I used to go to school, home economics was a big thing. You used to learn how to cook. They don't do it. They don't do it anymore in schools anymore, because it's so easy. You can walk. All the schools that I see around my area, guess what's right beside them? You've got the fast food places. You've got the sandwiches places. It's literally in your face. So the minute you walk outside the school, you can smell all this. So guess where they're going? They're going straight into these places.
Yeah.
where I live, this is no word of a lie. Where I live, in a 20-minute radius, we've got 5 McDonald's. 5.
For sure.
It's
For
just
sure.
insane. It's insane.
So Philip, let's look at this cost. Let's look at this cost on how is your psoriasis now?
It's healed up. I have a little bit here and there, but overall that whole picture body that is all cleared up. It's complete clear skin. I'm not itching anymore at night. I'm just living life and enjoying it. Like I'm not in pain. I'm not. It's that's the biggest thing. The reason why I'm doing this is so I don't feel that pain anymore. Right?
Yeah.
I don't feel like I don't feel embarrassed going out. I don't feel embarrassed just to take my shirt off and go to the beach or do stuff and sunbathe and enjoy myself. Like that's the best part,
Yeah.
right? And I could go hang out with my daughter and not be afraid of parents judging me for looking like I have skin disease all over my face or something. So
And now
that's
what
amazing.
what do you have to say about all those people saying how I could never do that? It's so strict. It's so much. The carnivore diet that's way too restrictive for me. What do you have to say to those people?
So for me to tell you the truth is fine and why. Like if you want to live a short life and you want to develop diabetes and stuff with your standard American diet, and you don't start now, and then you rather do it later, then that's on you, and that's the lifespan part, right? Like you could have a great lifespan, but then with the quality of life, it's not going to be great. Whereas health span wise, you if you start your diet now and you start your exercise now, you could live long term. You could live great.
And see that you made a good point there, Philip. The quality of life. Like this is what I just don't get with these pushbacks. I don't understand that we've all changed our life. All 3 of us have changed our life. This is the only diet that done it for me. I've done all the diets. Every single one of them. None of them worked. So like I honestly I just don't get it. I don't understand why people just call us liars, and we're as I said, we're part of a cult and we're part of this group, and we're forcing this on people. It's like, look at me. I'm healthy. I'm in my bleeding 50s. I'm living my best life now. I have no more pain. I have no more mental health pain. I'm eating the way I should be. I'm not hungry anymore. Like you look at Philip's story. Like he's like it's like guys, come on. It's not bleeding rocket science. Look at his skin. He's suffered with this for his whole life.
Like the beautiful part about this is if people can't, I'd love to hear the people in the comments about this. If you can't recognize the irony of this, how something is fucking possible. It's possible. And why are we shutting Philip down and shutting down his message, all of our messages, in spite of what's happened? And that's what drives me nuts. Look at you, Philip. Like you're glowing. You've got your life back. The way to deal with this, it's through your diet. And then you go from there. Like it's undeniable evidence now with thousands, if not millions of people resolving issues with their diet and lifestyle.
But it comes down that if you're healthy, you are no longer a customer. That's a fact.
True. Yeah.
That's an absolute fact.
For sure.
I mean, I can tell you right now, you're not going to see me going near the doctor. I won't be near the doctor. I know I don't need to be.
Yeah.
So I'm taking matters into my own hands. I control my own health.
So
I got a question for Philip. Philip, have you also stopped coffee?
No, I'm still drinking coffee. I'm still drinking coffee.
Do you notice any flare-ups? I mean, that's a big one for all the carnivores.
So I do notice there's a difference. It depends on the coffee. So if you have instant coffee that is grounded and stuff, the percentage of cockroaches in there will flare me up. To tell you the truth, because so if you didn't know, cockroaches has the same. So I'm allergic to shellfish, and so the shell of the cockroach is the same makeup as a lobster or a shellfish. And so when you drink coffee and you already know that you're allergic to shellfish, it flares me up.
I
But
think
when
it's
you
called
buy,
chitin. Yeah.
yeah, chitin. So when I buy like fresh ground coffee, or not ground coffee, but I just buy whole beans now, and I ground it myself, and they'll make sure there's no cockroaches in there. But I
Wow.
drink that type of coffee. So I grind my own coffee and make sure that this is correct and clean. Whereas I used to drink a lot of instant coffee, like Folgers and stuff. And it actually has a lot of, you just don't know what's in there. So
Well, yeah, I think that's they're involuntarily already making us eat the bugs, right? Like that's already happening. Oh man, I know coffee's a whole other animal, and I know the quality. Actually, the quality of everything matters. I mean, I think back in my life, I would just like organic schmorganic. Now it's like holy shit. There's actual, how the food is brought to your mouth is very significant, and I think it doesn't matter what it is. There's going to be lesser degrees of poison, and things are going to be way more problematic. And I think that's the funny part about what we're talking about today with skin. It's definitely personal, but the framework and the whole the way you start has to start at your gut. So somebody suffering from leaky gut or some severe autoimmune condition like Philip is going to have a different why or a different reason, but we're so programmed to not even ever talk about diet. Like diet's nothing. Like it doesn't matter how many bags of Doritos you eat. You just got to eat less and you'll be healthy. What the fuck is that? That's bullshit. And I mean, it's funny how this all ties into everything. I mean, Philip, you're the business side of this. Like, how's your pushback with people when you're saying, "Hey, I've got a way out of this." Like, let's work together. Let's get you righteous. How did people feel?
A lot of people are skeptical, and they say I can't eat red meat. They told me not to eat red meat, and I'm off of it, and it's they don't want to try it. They're afraid, because that's another thing too, is people are afraid. I think personally, is people are afraid of the keto flu or the carnivore flu, however you call it, and that's where after eating it for a couple weeks, being on carnivore for a couple weeks, they start to feel sick and they want it back out. And that's actually our signal to our body saying, hey, we're switching from sugar to fats. But people don't like,
because
they don't like.
I get that all the time. I get people saying to me like the carnivore diet it's not sustainable because of that. They notice that they're getting sick, they're miserable, and it's like, well, and then you try and explain to them like, listen, you need your body to heal. You need to understand this. This is why we need to move away from weight loss. Me and Tony are saying this all the time. Like the weight loss that we've been doing for years and years and years. This is the diet culture that we've been doing for years. This is the reason why so many people are struggling. It's easy to lose weight. All three of us have done it. We know what it's like to be in a calorie deficit. We know how to lose weight. It's not nice because you're hungry. It never lasts. You end up putting the weight back on, and you know what I mean. Whereas now, when you heal the body, you're able to lose the weight so much easier because you've shut the hunger hormone off. You're full. You're only eating probably once or twice a day. That's it. And you don't need to eat every couple of hours.
I have a theory because of what Philip was talking about with when the severity of how shitty you're going to feel. Well, we look at the liver. The liver is everything. The liver has so many jobs. It's detoxifying you. You don't have to go on a liver cleanse. You have to cleanse your body, and your liver will do the heavy lifting. But I think when it gets all backed up and blocked up with all these dysfunctional shit, when it starts to heal and purge, what do you think happens? It's releasing everything. And it's funny how we look at these things and we have to coin them and label them. And it's like we don't look at the healing factor of the whole. And Philip, I think you can testify to this. You didn't try and heal your psoriasis. You tried to heal. And when you put it into the body perspective, the good things sort of happened. And I'm sure it happened in time. Like it wasn't, which is another thing that we talk about over and over again, especially with our clients, with our friends and family. People think this shit resolves in 2 weeks. You've been decades of poisoning and decades of shit.
And when you think about it, Philip, if you hadn't came into this lifestyle, like you would have been pushed to the side because there's no way you would have been able to afford all this. So you would have been pushed to the side. That would have been saying, okay, well, listen, we can't look after you. If you're not able to give us the money that we're looking for, We can't help you. It's
So
like there you go. You're gonna be left to rot.
this is a good comparison then. Think about someone who's a drug addict, right? And so if there's certain, I forgot what certain drugs that are fat soluble, so they're in your fats. And so you have to think of it this way, right? So I'm addicted to sugar. Like as someone who's been on the standard American diet, we're addicted to sugar, and so there's going to be withdrawals and stuff. And so when you go on carnivore, you have to go through that withdrawal, just like a drug addict. And if you're taking those drugs that is fat soluble, that's stuck in your thing, you're going to still have the same cravings or side effects from that drug. And so you have to think like you have to go through something. You got to get worse before you get better. And that's how I explain to my clients, like you have to get worse before you get better, because that's how life works.
That's healing.
It's
It
just
hurts
like
to heal, unfortunately.
I said that to you. I said that to you the other day, Philip. You have to understand that you have a problem in the first place.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. You have to understand what it is before because when you know what it is, then you know that you need to change.
Yep.
But most people don't understand that.
And it's funny, it's because Lisa made a good point here. It's like, is carnivore a trigger word? And I'm finding out it is. Like, unfortunately, it is. But the whole point of it is, it's not the carnivore diet. It's healing. It's giving your body human proper food. And we can argue what food is, but our definition of food is so far from nourishing and wholesome for the body. I mean, the stuff that we're putting in our faces in McDonald's or in the grocery stores is not food. So where you sit with your framework, I mean, everybody's like, I feel you, Mark, and Philip too, because I'm over this shit. Like if I say carnivore diet, I mean eating real food. It doesn't really matter. I don't like the labels. We try not to be dogmatic, but shit, we have to define it by something, because they do, right? They have to say keto flu. They have to say, oh, it's this, this is going to happen to you. Well, when you're healing, and everything goes away or everything gets better even, you can see you're on the right track. Like Philip, I think we talked about this in the interview, and I will encourage everybody to, when the interview drops, go talk, because Philip's story is wild. When did things start to click? How long did things start to click when he changed?
When I changed, so the first 3 months was the fat loss and being pre-diabetic. So that's gonna be in the video, but definitely 3 months, because I started to notice. So with psoriasis, you get the scales on top, so like the white stuff. After 3 months, that scale starts to stop and it starts to flatten out. And that starts to show, hey, okay, something's happening. I'm not growing any more skin. My body's not attacking itself. And so that is a good indicator that it's working. And for it to fully heal, that took a whole year. Like it's like your skin is trying to heal from a cut, but it's just a long cut.
And isn't it amazing that that's what people get fixated on? It's like, okay, it's the scales. The scales is what matters here. If the scales is not moving, then I'm not getting healthy. Yeah. That's what everybody's focused on at the moment. They're getting blindsided by the number on the scales. That's what's ruining people's progress at the moment. People are just convinced that, and this is what we hear from these people on social media and the doctors. You just need to lose weight. If you're in a bad way, you just need to lose weight, and that's what's going to get you healthy. Forget about what you're putting in your body. Forget about what you're eating. It doesn't matter. You just need to lose weight.
Well, it's funny, Mark, because you're saying that. Philip's just mentioned his pre-diabetes. He just mentioned, we've been talking about psoriasis. It all resolves with the right nutritional nourishment intervention. All of it, and that's the funny thing about all of our stories. People start like putting them into boxes. And then they look at like, well, I tried this diet thing for 2 weeks and nothing happened. It's like, what the hell do you expect?
So going on that with the time, the duration of it, right? So if you're on cream treatment, the doctor recommends about 3 months. It's going to take a while. You had to be on it. And if you listen to your doctor, if you follow that, just like we are coaches, if you follow our plan, our protocols and our treatment, you will get results. Yeah. But if you don't, then you're just going to it's just gonna keep growing and growing. But we as humans, with current society now, we want instant gratification. We want things like that. That's
And
part
it,
of
and isn't
biology.
it and isn't it amazing when we're talking about this, and none of us are pushing this on anybody. But when you mention to somebody that, okay, I can see that you're going through an awful lot of pain. I can see where you're going wrong. You need a coach in your life. You never mention anything about financial stuff. It's just like you need a coach in your life. And then when you break it down for them and you're like, okay, this is the package. This is what it's going to be worth. Straight away, it's like the fire alarms start ringing. It's like, oh my God, I can't afford that. And then you want to have this conversation with them, but you don't want to come across rude, because you want to have the conversation and say, right, okay, let's break down your financial situation on a week-to-week basis. Because I've done this with a few people. I said, right, okay, because they asked me, okay, well, I can't afford that, but I'm saying to them, okay, well, let's break down your financial situation at the moment. What are you doing on a weekly basis? And like I mentioned earlier, they're fast food, they're buying sandwiches, they're buying coffees, espressos, and then shopping, and then the adds all up. And then you're going and saying, well, this is adding more. You're actually spending a bleeding fortune on this, plus the medication. You're going to your doctor and you're spending all this money on medication, right? Then you're probably on Ozempic. You're probably spending that as well. So it's like, and then you're probably a pre-diabetic. So you're spending money on metformin. It's like, and then you're on these supplements because these experts are telling you that you need whey protein, you need amino acids for the gym. I mean, when does it stop? It's like, do you not understand where you're going wrong here? You don't need all this shit.
And
You
not
just
to
need
mention,
someone in the. Go ahead,
the
Tom.
most
Sorry.
important investment, the most important investment is yourself. And
Absolutely.
people go
100%.
out of their way to get a better car, but then they're
Yeah.
suffering every morning. They can't get out
Yeah.
of bed because they say, but I got a great car.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. And
And isn't it amazing that so many people in the world are in pain, but they'll still do the same thing? That's it. That's the point of insanity, in my opinion. That you're doing the same shit over and over and over again, and you're in pain, and you know you're in pain,
And
but you're just going to keep on doing it. It's like,
and you know what's funny is that whole loop that you're calling out. They defend it. They don't. It's like people will defend their suffering, saying that you're a heretic or that you don't know what you're talking about. And I'm sure you felt this, Philip, too. Mark, well, obviously, Mark expresses his frustration almost on a daily basis. But people are they think that the suffering is normal, is natural. And when you have people like yourself, Philip, screaming out from the rooftops, like, "Hey, man, this could be you too," people push back and say, "I couldn't do it."
When I was younger, I was like that. I was those people where like this pain is a part of me. This is my suffering. God gave me the suffering to be there. And then like I have to break the mental aspect of it, because having psoriasis is not just, changing your lifestyle, changing your diet. You also have to change your mental. That's the limiting beliefs that we all have limiting beliefs. You're all been programmed by the Matrix. And that's the funny thing with the Matrix is it's just based on the movie and everything, is the people who are so comfortable in the Matrix defends that ID.
They turn into the agents. They turn into the agents.
Exactly. And then that's, for us to break that cycle, we have to choose the red pill till we can get out into reality. So
100%. Yeah, definitely.
And for a lot of us, the red pill is a big fat red juicy steak, which is, as you go there, everybody talks about this too. It's like, I could never do that every day. And it's like, you've never done it. And I'll tell you what, it changes. It all changes. The food that I gravitate to is so like every day, by the time I'm done eating, I'm over it. But the next day I can't wait to do it again. And
there's not one person that I work with complains about the amount of steak they're eating every day. Not one. Not one. They look forward to it every single day. Every day.
The ones that do actually have more variety in their diet. They're the ones that say they couldn't do it. But it's like, you're eating all these vegetables. You're thinking that you need variety, that you need like rainbows and butterflies, but you just need to nourish your body, and the body starts to get that next level intuitive aspect, which is so hard to bloody explain to people. You're going to be a lot different in 6 months. Like when all these limiting beliefs, like you call them, Philip, start going away, and you start to realize there's that, the carnivore lift, or there's, I hate, like, we're not using the carnivore word, I guess not anymore, Lisa, but you know what? It happens. Everybody has this little awakening moment, this aha moment that really, really sets it off. And then, we hear this all the time on social media too, guys. Like, how many vegans have gone carnivore? How many carnivores have gone vegan? Not one. I can't. I think Michael Fine did a great video about that, asking people about that. All the comments were like, no, nobody does it. Nobody does it. So it's funny how the big program push to all this bullshit really gets us out of to where we're supposed to be. And I mean, if you want to call it ancestral, I like to call it just human food, man. It's not rocket science.
Yeah.
And Philip, how are you doing now? How's your people? How the people that you're helping? How are they doing?
They're doing great. One of them I'm struggling with because it's a family member and trying to it's the mental part now, right? They could get on the diet pretty easily, but then the mental part, being able for them to stay long term, is the difficult part, and changing their mindset on things. And then with other people, they're gaining muscle, losing weight, and they're improving themselves. And they right now, it was still early on, so I'm hoping to see their skin change, because some people could take a couple weeks and then they're ready to go, and some are not. So we'll see the results.
Yeah. Now, the other side of skin. Let's talk a little bit about this, boys, before we wrap it up. I want to talk about it's the aging factor. A lot of people, Mark, you've probably seen this too with your lady older clients. They're worried about losing fat too. They want to lose weight, but then they worry about losing too much fat and their skin's hanging. And what we're doing, I believe, is it starts in the gut. And I mean, you can take all the collagen you want. I don't think it's necessarily bad to supplement collagen, but it does come from amino acids, and you can get it from if you're nose to tail, even without organs, just eating different types of meat and different types of, the tendons, the ligaments, all the good stuff that's highly collagenous. I've found that the skin keeps up. I don't know about you guys. What do you think?
Yeah, I completely agree. I see this with women all the time. They lose the weight and they have all this saggy skin, and this is what they're worried about, and then they're absolutely convinced they need to go off and do surgery and cut it off. But this is just all dead skin. We can definitely remove this through this diet. Also, I've seen it very, very easily, and you just need to. This is down to autophagy. I can never pronounce this word, autophagy. But like, if you just allow your body to fast, your body will actually eat itself. You'll actually eat all this dead skin. It's very, very simple. I've seen tremendous results with women that have been huge, and they have all this baggy skin, and like, what do I do now? What do I need to go off now and get surgery? No, you just need to keep going, and then just adding a few fasting days, a few days a week. Do it consistently. Don't just do it for a couple of weeks. It's like what we're talking about, the healing process. This shit doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, but it will happen. The more consistent you are, it will happen.
And I think, unfortunately, Philip's had to suffer with a severe case, his whole life. But it's funny how we all, like we've mentioned it before, all these skin issues are labeled these things, but they're all coming from the same place. And it's mind-blowing to see how the mainstream pushes us into those boxes. And, Philip, you have to deal with your psoriasis. Maggie, you have to deal with your eczema. Tony, you have to deal with your dandruff. And it's funny how the skin is the last reflection of what's going on inside, but nobody seems to get it. It's mind-blowing. It all starts from the inside out.
It does.
That's the message, Tony. Like, this is where we need to be focusing on. Everything starts with the gut. It really does. I know we've repeated this message over and over and over again, but this is why it's never going to be about calories ever. It's about what you feed the gut. It's always going to come down to the hormonal response in the body. That's how this shit works. It's got nothing to do with calories. You will never outrun a bad diet ever. And in Philip's situation, it had nothing to do with weight for him. This was a personal thing for him. You heard it from him. You'll hear it on the previous video. his confidence was knocked. He couldn't go anywhere. He couldn't even go anywhere with his kids because he had these issues. You know what I mean? And we're seeing this at the moment. We're seeing so many people in the world that are struggling with this. It's not. We're seeing so many people. Every second person in the world is struggling with insulin resistance. They have something going on in their life. Something, high blood pressure, pre-diabetes, PCOS, endometriosis, skin issues. The list goes on and on and on. Tony battled with his mental health issues for years. He's been saying this. He's mentioned this on a few times. I've had, like you, Philip, I struggled with my food addiction also. I struggled with food for years and years and years. This was the only diet that fixed it. Nothing else came even close. Not even close.
So, boys, we're wrap this up. Any before we wrap this up, I want to say, if someone is suffering, I mean, we have our little community here. We have our people and we appreciate all of you for chiming in, joining in. We need to share this message. We need to give people hope. We have to keep punching them in the face. Punch this message home that it's possible. Like, give them hope. And Philip, where can people find you? Or do you have any sort of guidance for people that are suffering from psoriasis, from any skin issues? Where can people find you? How do they get a hold of you? How do they, maybe even possibly work with you? Let everybody know.
So I do have a book. I'm an author now. So I have a book on Amazon. It's called How Meat to Mend. It's a carnivore journey to clear skin. And that literally, I put everything down, all my journey, what I've done. It covers from diet to environment, stress, meditation, everything, mindset, all of that into my book. You can find it on Amazon, Meat to Mend. And then you can also find me on Mr. Philip Nguyen on TikTok, X, and Instagram. And I'm really active on X and Instagram. And TikTok, I just post stuff. But you could get me on Instagram, Mr. Philip Nguyen, and on X. So, and then if you want to do coaching with me, feel free to just message me and we could talk about, what I could do for you and how I can help you. Because, we as coaches, we're just here to help you. We're trying to service you. We're trying to help to better our community. And once, if we help one person, we can help many others. Because that's how it works. Like we spread the love and our knowledge to everybody, so we as a society could be better and we could create more. So,
and I think that's an important point, Philip, because like all three of us are coaches, but all three of us just want to see people do well. Like we don't give a shit who we coach as long as they're getting looked after. Like, you know what I mean? Like I've always said, like if there's someone that I cannot help, it's like someone who knows more than me than say, like let's say Peter, for example, he knows more about diabetes than me. You can be sure that person's going towards Peter. You know what I mean? Someone with skin issues now, I know what I'm talking about, but I know they'd be a better fit for you. It's about just helping people. It's got nothing to do for a financial gain. We're not in it for that. No. We're in this just to help people. If we were in it for financial gain, we'd be doing what everybody else is doing and just selling people these short-term solutions and coming up with these shitty programs and selling people a dream, all this shite. But we're doing it for the right reason.
That's a good point, Mark. And just kind of before we like I said, before we shut it down, when you're trying to find a coach, I mean, who you resonate with, like that's really important. I mean, there's a lot of people out there, but what is a coach? It's not a diet plan. It's not a prescription pad or a supplement regimen. This is working with people that you feel comfortable confiding in and believing in, and everybody's got a purpose. Try things out, but in my opinion, every single person when I was starting this stuff was helping that didn't put any skin in the game, no pun intended. There was no commitment. There was nothing. But if you really want to help get through hurdles, Mark's done this for 4 years. Philip's done some pretty amazing things. You just look at that picture. I'll just put it up quickly. Uh-oh, wrong one. That one. Look at that. If that's you, call him, please. And is it worth the money? Absolutely. It's not about the money. It's about the commitment. And if you resonate with somebody, ask for help. There's a whole bunch of people in this community. I know even people go talk to Byron, Lisa, Victoria, all of us. We're all trying to push this message as best we can and give people hope and join a movement that is for humanity, not in any specific agendas. So, Mark, speaking of coaches, how do people find you?
Yeah, if you want to reach out to me, guys, I'm on all platforms, social media, Fitness Beyond Time 01 on TikTok or Instagram. And if you guys wanted to send me an email, again, for coaching, just send me an email at nsmark93@gmail.com.
And likewise, buddy. And make sure you guys follow Philip. His interview is going to be coming out later today or Monday on the channel. Please follow him, Mr. Philip Nguyen, on Instagram and all his social media. I know you're going to be following Mark. Don't forget, Victoria will kill me if I don't. I'm just kidding. Carnivore Evolution podcasts on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Mark and Victoria go one-on-one with people and get really deep into their personal journeys. It's always a great hour-ish. They're doing the message. We're all trying to come at this from all different angles. If anybody's interested in working with me, give me a call. Let me know on social media, Tony_Food for Thought, or on my website, TonyStewartCoaching.com. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. All the comments. We love you guys. We do appreciate this. Rick, Byron, Lisa, Corey, thank you guys. If I'm missed anybody, we love you. Hopefully this worked out on Instagram. We're going to try and get this out to as many people as we can. We're trying to get this message. We're doing our thing. We are here live every Sunday, 10 a.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. in the UK and Ireland, 7 p.m. in the Netherlands and Europe. Peter will be back next week. Once again, thank you, Philip, for joining us today. We really appreciate your input and your insight and your story. Make sure you guys check out his interview with us that's coming out on the channel in the next day or two. Thanks, everybody. Have a great Sunday. Rest of your evening or morning, and we'll talk soon.
Speak soon, guys. Bye-bye.